At this point in time, I feel like everywhere you look, there's some new Xbox news about the new console being talked about. I mean, at this point, I'm dodging every single article I see because there's just so much information, it's starting to become overwhelming. But at the same time, being a huge fan, I can't help but read pretty much everything that comes my way. And while most of these articles are talking about the same exact thing, every once in a while you stumble upon an article that has a new insider information. And those are the ones that you really want to pay attention to because they give some pretty solid information about the Xbox Series X. And that's exactly what happens when this new article where we have Digital Foundry talking about the GPU that's going to be inside the Xbox Series console. For the first time, we get some hard evidence of what will be inside this next generation console. Now, this article is lengthy, but it's worth every second of time because it does confirm some things we already talked about. But it also sets a precedent that I don't think a lot of people thought was possible. Because for the first time in a console's history, Xbox is finally aiming so high that even current tech that released this year won't be able to do what this new GPU in the console will do. So let's all dive into this and see exactly what Digital Foundry uncovered with this new monster console. And is this really going to be the most powerful console on the market when it launches? Let's find out and get into this article. But before we do that, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, let's just dive right into this article so we can just set a base of what exactly this console is going to be capable of. This is what the article starts off by saying. The Xbox Series X console design is unlike anything we have seen for consoles up until now, and it's likely that the bulkier design is due to the increased power consumption, rather than the actual size of the components. The increased power consumption is given due to how powerful the GPU will be. It will be more performant and feature-rich than any Navi component released by AMD this year, according to a fresh analysis of the upcoming console. Now, this one paragraph has a lot of detail that wasn't really known since the Xbox Series X was announced. First of all, it talks about the design and how it's a little bulkier, so let's talk about that a little bit. Now, personally, I love the design of the console. It's different and it really does stand out. Not to mention, it's designed to be extremely functional, and that's what this paragraph hints at. They say the bulkier design is due to the increased power consumption. Now, of course, all of the next generation consoles will be far more powerful than what we currently have, and because of this, they need to design a console that can handle that power. But what stands out the most about this quote is what is said about the GPU and how the power consumption is coming from that. The feature-rich Navi component by AMD is going to be something that we've never seen before, at least something that we've never seen released by AMD yet. That means that the GPU and the consoles will be state-of-the-art and have some of the newest cutting-edge tech attached to it. This is a massive departure from what all other consoles have released throughout history. Usually when a console releases, the tech is custom and decently powered, but it's far from new. But when it comes to the next generation Xbox Series X, it would seem that the console will change that. Now, of course, this could mean that the console is going to have the latest and greatest AMD tech, but it could also mean they developed a custom GPU specifically for the console, and the tech attached to that is completely new, which the article goes into more detail about when it says this. Two of the key aspects in the system setup are being pushed beyond what we currently know as reasonable limits for console design. 12 teraflops suggest a processor at the upper end of the kind of size we've seen in AMD-based console, possibly larger, and this would be a significant achievement from the new 7nm fabricated process. As a lot of people have talked about for a little while now, the 12 teraflop number that's been rumored for a little while now, and something that most people were reporting. But what wasn't being talked about is how it was pushing beyond what we currently know to be even reasonable. For this console to push the limits for what a console design could do does suggest that the console will have a little bit of a custom design mixed into it. Not to mention when they talk about the 12 teraflops, they say the processor will be at the upper end of the kind of that AMD is used to making, maybe even larger than that. This all points to Xbox working hand in hand with AMD to truly make a console that will not be limited in any way. I feel like they had a set number of power and specs they wanted to reach, and they worked tirelessly to get those specs they wanted. And in the interview that Phil Spencer had with everyone during the reveal of the console, he did say that they didn't give the engineers behind the Xbox Series X any console design to hinder how they make the console. Instead, he gave them a hardware spec they wanted to reach and told them to go and build that. And if this quote is correct, it will be a massive achievement for them to get this type of power on a 7nm fabricated process. To me, this entire console is starting to really surprise even the most knowledgeable people when it comes to hardware. And yet the article doesn't stop here. Here's what else they had to say. It would also suggest frequencies that are appreciably higher than those seen in AMD Navi-based GPUs, which reverses the current situation with the current gen machines, which are typically underclocked compared to equivalent PC parts. Increasing both area and frequency inevitably pushes up power consumption way beyond anything we've seen in a home console. Our measurements for the first gen PlayStation 3 currently top the power consumption charts at 209 watts during gameplay. Based on what we know of the Navi GPUs from the existing seemingly less capable Radeon RX 5700 series, not to mention the size of the Series X casing, I wouldn't be surprised to see the new console move beyond 300 watts. This is talking about the power supply that will be used to power all of the parts on the console. For a console to have a 300 watt power supply is straight crazy, people. That means this console will need to have a lot of power in order for it to run a lot of the so-called feature-rich GPU and even the CPU. This console keeps getting even more ridiculous every time something new about it comes out. Now, of course, from what we've seen, the power supply will be inside the console instead of outside the console like we saw with the 360 and the Xbox One. After the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X, Xbox has moved toward a much sleeker design when it comes to the console. And even with all this analysis, there's still a lot more in this article. Here's what it says about the GDDR6 RAM and a solid state storage. The size of the Series X processor represents a significant cost just on its own, and that's before we factor in other pricey parts such as a solid state storage, GDDR6 memory, and what is likely to be an innovative and likely costly cooling solution. In fact, simply increasing the size of the block also increased manufacturing worldwide shipping costs. The conventional wisdom is that a console balances price against performance with inevitable compromises, but there's strong evidence here that Series X subverts this, with more of a push towards getting as much state-of-the-art tech into a console box as possible. This almost feels like a warning that Xbox is truly trying to make the most powerful console no matter the cost. And as a tech geek that loves having the best performance, this makes me smile from ear to ear. Because while the solid state storage and the new GDDR6 RAM will be costly, it's essential to have in a console that will be pushing the GPU and CPU so far ahead from where we currently stand. But what gets me most is when they say the Xbox Series X is pushing towards state-of-the-art tech into a console. And it's something we've never seen a company do before. Honestly, people, like I've said before, consoles usually come out a little underpowered because it helps with the cost of making them. Yet with this console, it seems Microsoft is pushing the line forward. And the article says as much when it says this. Judging from what is known so far, it seems Microsoft is doing everything possible to truly release the most powerful console ever made, with a GPU that is more performant than anything we've seen so far. That's right, you heard it right there. Microsoft and Xbox want to make the most powerful console ever made. The GPU is going to be crazy powerful, and to be honest, the Xbox One X has a great GPU, and it's something that could continue to play great games for a little while. But Xbox didn't settle with an older GPU. Instead, they pushed their technology forward and aimed much higher. And you throw in the CPU and everything else, and we truly have something special. Will this console be more powerful than the PS5 console that Sony is currently working on? Who knows, but all I can say is that Xbox doesn't want to lose that power narrative again, and they're trying their best to keep that statement true. And let's close out this video with an awesome quote from the article that truly does make this console sound crazy powerful. Here's what is said. There is no compromise in CPU performance in the next-gen design. We're getting a customized rendition of a high-spec PC part. Meanwhile, the PS5 GPU may be shrouded in mystery, but if the indications are true for the Series X, Microsoft has developed a console GPU that is more powerful and more feature-rich than any Navi part AMD has shipped in 2019. There you have it, state-of-the-art, cutting-edge technology put right at your fingertips, and at the fingertips of all the developers that will be making games for the Xbox Series X console. As a gamer, I can't help but feel joy knowing that the console I put my hard-earned money toward will be well worth the price. Let's hope we truly see the gaming world take advantage of these new consoles and give us experiences we've never seen before. But enough about what I think. Tell me what you think about all this. Do you think the Xbox Series X will be the most powerful console in the world? Can Xbox achieve all of these benchmarks next generation? Is Xbox going to keep the power crown like they currently do? What's the most important upgrade in the next gen consoles for you? Are you excited for the GPU, the CPU, the SSD that we'll see in these consoles? Is this a day one buy for you? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. And also follow me on Mixer. I recently started streaming on Mixer because I find the community much more engaging and fun. So if you want to hang out and chat with me, I'm very active with my chat and always playing games. The links will be in the description. I hope to see you guys there. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.